This
Uh,
conference will now be recorded.
Python is a general purpose interpreted interactive programming language. So, excuse me, you could, if you could say, nod something so that I can make sure you are hearing without any interruption. And you guys, please go mute unless until you are asking me a question because I am hearing some other noise as well. Okay, thank you. Python is a general purpose interpreted interactive programming language. When I say a general purpose programming language, it is like with Python we can do almost everything we do with other programming languages. When we say it, everything, it includes scripting from starting, uh, web development, data analytics, and all sorts of server side and client side programming, networking programming. So all those area of programming, all those area of n- all those areas are exposed in Python as well. Let us go to a bit history about Python. Python was put forward by a computer scientist Guido van Rossum, and Guido van Rossum was working with a programming language called ABZ in one of his project. Amoeba is a distributed ecosystem where people used to build projects in earlier days. Python was developed from strictly as a syntax reduction for ABC in the kernel of C. So when I started, I was using a phrase interrupted interactive and object-oriented programming language. So when we go into each thing and why Python is an interpreted programming language, we know when we code a when we code something in a system or when we write a program, we write in a high-level language. High-level language is the language which human use to communicate each other. It can be English, Hindi, or Tamil, any language which human understand. So when we program, what our aim is to understand our logic, or machine should our aim is to talk to machine, or our aim is to make a machine understand human language. So there is a software running in the system which converts our high level logic into machine learning logic. So this software is known as interpreter. And in general programming arena, there are two types of interpreters, two type of converters. They are known as compilers and interpreters. So difference between a compiler and interpreter is that compiler converts a high-level language into machine language in a single structure. They convert the whole bunch of script and to machine learning, machine language, where interpreter where interpreter is a kind of converter which converts line by line. So in Python, the conversion of high level to machine language happens line by line in a go. When we execute it, each line it reads, it convert to machine language, and it execute the code. So what does that make is that when we use a compiler, we need a memory location to save the compiled form of the program, and again we need to execute that compiled program. So we are using a particular memory location to store this compiled program, and from we are accessing that memory location and executing the program. Whereas in Python, we does not require a memory location to store a compiled form of the program, since we are not making any uh, compiled form. Uh, and all the compilation, all the conversion, it gets started in on the go. So Python is known as an interpreted language. Then there is another term, it's an interactive language. Why it is an interactive language? As we know, the Python is written on C kernel. And you might be familiar with the operating systems like Windows, Linux, where you have a terminal to interact with the OS, where it stands between user and the OS kernel, and they formerly known as shell. So we do write commands there, and we get response from there. So it is a shell interpreter or shell terminal where uh, users execute their command. Similar to those environments, which OSs like operating systems like Windows and Linux provide. Even Python interpreter provide or Python provide an interactive terminal for users so he can issue command and get it result. An object-oriented language. Python is a strictly an object-oriented language where uh, everything in Python is strictly mapped to certain classes and called as certain objects. So object oriented approach of programming is the basic structure of Python. So why people learn Python and why there is a lot of bustle, a lot of people behind Python in nowadays, because Python is a language which you can learn in very ease or very short time of practice, because the main advantage is the syntax simplification. Even in Java or C, if you want to write a program, we have to follow a strict syntax, which we have to remember a lot of conventions where want to put braces, where we want to put semicolons, and we issues for printing a certain word. We issues like in Java print.ln. So in C we use printf. In Python we just say print. So that is the mode of syntax reduction in Python. And as I said, Python is an independent language. As in Java, we have a Java virtual machine. Python, we have a Python virtual machine, which converts this high level human language into bytecodes, and which this bytecode get executed, and we get our programming results. So what this PVM signifies is that it makes the code uh, portable. Yeah, like it makes the code mm, system independable. And there are other options in Python. Where if you have a if you have a C program with you, or if you have a Java program with you, you can extend the Python kernel using certain modules in Python, so that you can execute your C programming as well as there is an integration with the Java platform where we call it as Jython, and where we use in such environments where we have to use some Java functionalities. So this is the wide application where people focus on Python. And Python is a simple language which can be used for data analytics purpose. When we say data analytics purpose, from data extraction till data visualization and data manipulation, all these steps can be carried out by Python, with on top of using all the syntax, all the statistical functions which other languages like R and SAS use. So that there is another advantage in the data science field as well. And this is the statistics of 2016. And if you take it for 2018, it will have much more significance, where you can see 26.7 percentage of the popularity of Python is about 26.7 percentage, and you can see the main technology gains using Python. So I'll switch on to my terminal just to show you the concept of interactiveness of Python. When we type Python, if your system is installed with the Python, it shows Python and the version of the Python which is installed in your system. And in my system, it is 2.7. You can upgrade to 3.6, which is the latest version. And 2.7 and 3.6 has very few syntax differences, which can be corrected and planned. So, as I said, if user say 1 and user say a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and ask terminal for a plus b, it gives the sum. So this is the way the Python terminal interact with the user. So moving on, installation and setup, which will cover detail in our classes. The code blocks in Python are separated by indentation. When I say indentation, it is the space difference that you keeps from your left side of the margin, so the program looks neat and clean. So compared to other programming languages, Java, C, since we don't have block separation by braces or uh, brackets or semicolons, we separate it through spaces. The program looks neat and clean, which makes program highly readable. When I say readable, if a colleague write a Python script for certain functionality, and when you look at it, you get the logic very simple. You understand the logic he applied in the program. That signifies a lot in the programming area, where you have a scope of high readability. So coming to basic programming, programming concepts like variable identifiers. So what does a program do is it uses certain data, it manipulates it, get us the result. So this data manipulation, for everything, it uses the memory location in the system which it is running, whether it is a server, whether it is a desktop, whether it is a laptop, whether it is a mobile phone, or wherever this program is running, what it uses, it's use certain memory locations in the system. It stores the data there, it retrieve it, it manipulate it, it again store in certain memory location. So we refer our data to this memory location, and we call this memory location as variable, and to identify logically, we name it and we call that name as identifiers. And so we have a named data, we know the location where it is present. Now we want to categorize this data, and we have a system called data types. As in every programming language, we have in Python as well. But formally speaking, there are 5 important uh, data types which Python use, and there is another data type called set, which is a scientific data type which is rarely used, and this is the 6th data type. So numbers is the numerical data. All the numerical datas are typecasted as numbers. All the strings and alphanumeric characters we consider it as string. So list is something very similar to array in Python. Sorry, array in Java, where we can store that this integers and strings and numbers in a list. In the form of an array, that is a series. So there is another 2 data types like tuple and dictionary, where tuple is something similar to dictionary list, which is immutable, and the declaration of this tuple and list are different. List is declared by square bracket, tuple is declared by normal braces. And there is a concept called dictionary. When I say immutable, when I compared list and tuple, I told tuple is immutable. When I say immutable, once you created a tuple, you cannot alter the values in the tuple, and this signifies certain applications in the programming area and the scripting area, where we have to conserve our data, or where we have to conserve our outputs, which should not be uttered in the run of the programming language. And there is a concept called dictionary, which is similar to hash map in Java, where we have a key value pair, and we can access key by values and value by keys. And these key value system has a is also similar kind of DBMS system, which enables us to even store a database as even store a database as a dictionary. So these are the basic data types, and We have operators like arithmetic and numerical operators. And in the training sessions, we'll go into details of all this data types and how we treat them and what are the functions which can be used on these data types and various operations like that. So this is the area we explore, and we will cover the object-oriented concept as well. So this, so by this, I stop here with the demo. You can give me your feedbacks.